Good morning, guys. Today is April the 8th, I think. What is it? April 8th.
5th.
April the 5th. It is about just over a month before we are going to start racing. So we've decided that we're going to share our journey into the racing season, what's happening. From today, short little video clips every morning, our routine, what we feed and what we do right throughout the racing season, and just to let you guys know how we do things, and maybe someone can learn something, even if it works, then you know what to do, and if it doesn't work, you know what not to do. So what I'm showing you this morning is what is the basis of our routine going forward, especially now, what we do in the water. So this is no longer a secret. What we do, we put in the milk powder and vinegar in the water. So I just want to show you how we mix it and how much we do. This is the calf milk alternative. It's the same milk powder they use to raise calves and sheep and lambs and cattle. So it looks like this. If you want to look at what the container looks like, although it's now a different container, you get different kinds, but this is the lacto calf. Just have a look there. So that's the one we're using. And if you look at the nutritional labels, there is a lot of calcium, vitamins, and all sorts of good things in there. That's very beneficial to the pigeons, and it's crucial to their health. Now, this little trick is not something that we came up with, but it's what we learned from our good friend Steve Painter, and it's long been out. It's no longer a secret. This is what he does, and I guarantee you, you can go to his loft this morning, and you'll find this in the water as well. So what we do is you take your milk powder. It's about 100 grams for 10 liters. So that means it's 20 grams on. So it's 100 grams for 5 liters. 20 grams on a liter. So that means 100 grams is going to make you 5 liters. Yes. So you need to first of all measure out. I've got a little food scale, so I know this is exactly 100 grams. We've measured it out before we started. And then we took a little bit of hot water in our watering can. About 1/3, nice and hot. And the reason you need the hot water is so the milk powder can actually dissolve in it. So we're just going to put in the milk powder into the watering can. Like so. There we go. And then crucially, that goes with it, we've got the brown imitation vinegar. You can use the white vinegar as well. But we like to use imitation vinegar. It's nice and cheap as well, so it doesn't cost you a lot of money. And the reason we eat this, you'll see there it says 5% acidity. Now a lot of people say, but why don't you use the apple cider vinegar? I say there's two reasons for that. Number one, apple cider vinegar is very, very expensive compared to normal vinegar or brown vinegar. And the other thing is, apple cider vinegar, when it gets produced, it doesn't have the same acidity throughout. So your ratios will be off. You won't be guaranteed that it's 5% acidity, because obviously some manufacturers and some batches are more acidic than others. With the imitation vinegar, you've got a guarantee that the acidity is at 5%. Why do we put vinegar into our milk mixture and into the water specifically for the pigeons? I think it's crucial to have the crop acidity down to have the crop acidic, because trichomoniasis, or as we know it, canker, grows in an alkalinic crop, and it cannot grow in a acidic crop, and so that prevents the trichomoniasis and many other bacterial diseases. And this is something I believe in, and definitely my mentor Steer Painter does religiously every day. So this is what we're doing. So I've already mixed now the milk there, and so it's 20 grams of milk powder on 1 liter of water. In the same, it's also then, let me just take this out of the way, it's 1 teaspoon for each liter of water as well. So this is now a bit uncomfortable, we need to do this a little bit differently. So into my little cap here, that is 2 teaspoons. So that is for 2 liters of water. That's for 4 liters, 4 teaspoons, and then we're going to add another one when we're making 5 liters here of vinegar. So 1 teaspoon of vinegar for each liter of water. That goes in there. Give it a good old shake. Make sure it mixes up well, and then you can fill it with cold water. And this is a 10 liter water can, so we're going to fill it halfway, so we know that is 5 liters of water. You can pause it there. Okay, so we've mixed our water, our milk and vinegar mixture, and then obviously something that is no secret at all, and any and all fancier and beginner knows this, but I'm just showing this is what we do. I'm going to be giving fresh grit daily for the entire racing season, and I've got a very basic grit there. So it's the pink mineral, and then it's mixed. There's two different kinds of grits. It's the one with the little shells and it's a bit rougher, and the redstone, and it's mixed with pink mineral. Usually I mix it with the black mineral, the charcoal, but I do not have that today. I forgot to get, so we'll get that. But anyway, I think this is the most important. So we are going to be giving the pigeons fresh grit, and that includes the breeding pigeons. And important about grit is not to give it once a week, a whole pile of it. It's better to give a little bit of fresh grit every day, because it seems like when it gets dusty they don't want to eat for some reason, but they'll eat dusty food off the floor, no problem, but dusty grit they don't want to touch for some mysterious reason. Okay, so we're just quickly going to give them the milk and water, and we'll show you quickly what's going on in the loft, and then we'll get going, as it's now 4:40 in the morning, and we're still waking up and still need to go to gym. So let's quickly go and give the water. Bring my water. Okay, so like I said, so we just give a few teaspoons of the grit mixture every morning. Fresh. I seem to enjoy that a bit better. And make sure that's always, I think, the grit, the mineral is very important, especially now in the molting season and before racing. And then we're gonna give our milk mixture. And of course your milk and vinegar mixture doesn't interfere with any kind of medicine that you need or want to add to the water. You can add it with, it doesn't do anything. I just want to throw out the old grit. See, that was too much yesterday, so we just put a little bit fresh grit. And that's just enough. Yeah, so you can add, like I said, you can add anything to the vinegar mixture, the milk mixture, wetness and white. It won't affect it in any way. There we go. Just to show you guys what we actually do. There we go. Okay. At this current moment, our pigeons get fed once a day because we're trying to bring the weight down, and we'll go through what we feed maybe tomorrow morning because I've already eaten. So I'm just going to take the phone here and show you guys quickly what we've been up to in the loft. So there's a few things we did change from since we've last competed in the club. It's important to take out your feeding troughs, not to have it lying around, so that they can get droppings in it. So I'm just going to show you very quickly before this video gets a bit too long. Yeah, sorry for sounding like this. It's getting some used to now, waking up at 3 o'clock to do pigeons. But one of the things that we've changed, we've got the 4 sections that we've divided the loft up. We still have our box perches. That's about 10 centimeters deep, 30 centimeters long, 30 centimeters high. They seem to enjoy those. As you can see, there's a lot of feathers on the floor. There's still a few of them going through quite a heavy body mold. We haven't been tossing yet. They have been exercising around the loft because I feel they're not quite ready to go yet to the road. So some of our competitors has been tossing 200 kilometers already, and so they're ready to race. So in terms of that, we're behind, but I've learned out of experience that in Afrikaans they say haastig hond verbrand sy mond. Happened to me quite a few times. If you push them when they're not ready, you will lose them. That's just the way it is. Okay, so what we've done, you can see on the floor, I've went for a deep-lit system. It is as dirty as it gets at the moment, but we've done a cleaner deep-litter system, and this seems to work. We've put sand. This is cement floors, concrete floors that we usually flew on, and I found that they get very cold in the winter time. So we've actually put washed river sand down as at the bottom. This is not just river sand that you buy at the building corporations, but this is actually play sand and the kids play in. So it's SABS approved. It's been treated and washed. So you know it's fine for the actual pigeons. Very carbo dust. So what we do once a week or so. Now this has been more than a week for about 80 pigeons, so you can get an idea on how dirty the loft do get. But it's not that bad. What I like about the sand, it's bone dry. If I can open it up right and get to the concrete, you'll see there's no moisture whatsoever. And this particular sand is a sifted sand, so if there is no dust, so even if they flap around and they do their thing, and you walk you don't have this fine dust in the air that can go into the air sac. So that's why I like it. And then I'll just quickly show you how easy it's to clean the loft. So I'm too lazy to go get my scoop, but you see where the droppings are. I've got this little deep fryer chip basket actually, which I bought. So you just take your scoop, your little shovel, and you put a bit of your sand through the chip basket, and then you Give it a little shake. And there you go. All your droppings are actually now in the basket, and your sand is filtered through and it's now clean again. It takes about 10 minutes on a section to clean it properly. Clean the purchase, and then you clean the floor, and then you still have the benefit of the deep litter. You still clean the majority of the droppings, but you still have the fine droppings going through. So all your bacteria, your prebiotics, the natural stuff that you benefits you want from a deep litter system, you still get that benefit without having to walk around on a pile of shit most of the time. So that's what we're doing in terms of the floor. And just to show you, every now and then I'm not going to do it now, but this is carbo dust. It's for cats, dogs, gardens and homes. So this is just a dusting powder, insecticide. It's safe for animals, including the pigeons, that I just sprinkle a bit after the sand has been cleaned. We will sprinkle a little bit of this over the sand in the loft and mix it through. So if you do have any pigeon fly or any odd insect that wants to make its home in the sand in the loft, then you are covered there. But it doesn't kill the actual bacteria in the floor, which is beneficial. So it just keeps the bugs away. So that's what we do there. Right. Okay. Okay, so that is then it for this morning. Yeah, so every morning we will give you an update on what we're doing. So at the current moment, the pigeons are still molting. They're not completely through the molt yet. Some are still pushing flights. The health looks decent. They are exercising quite nicely around the loft. The droppings wasn't great, but it seems to be a little bit better now when you get fresh droppings like this with a feather on it, and you can actually move it with your hand without so that means, you know, for me, the droppings are getting there. The color I don't mind as much because it's a lot to do with what you feed as well, but the texture and the moisture content of the dropping is important to me. And of course the little, it needs to have the little white cap on top to make sure it's nice and fresh. And yeah, so that is it. A bit of a dirty loft that I'm showing you this morning. So just to show you on the other side, we're experimenting. We've actually don't have sand on the floor, which we probably will put down later, but I've got pine needles down. So I found that all the youngsters that's been weaned recently, that's still very young, they tend to enjoy the pine needle floor dressing, which we then just take put fresh pine needles down every week or every 2 weeks. They seem to like this much better. I think it reminds them of the nest, and they're used to the texture on the feet, and it's warm, and they go and they lie down. It's just something I'm experimenting with. It seems to be enjoying it quite a bit. And yeah, there's the little monsters ready to give us a showing. Yes. Okay, so thank you for watching, and we will talk again tomorrow.